Hi everyone, Tyler Manion here, NPC and IFBB Pro League Vice President, and this will be your New York Pro recap for the Open Men's Bodybuilding Division. And it was a very, very exciting show between the top two guys here. Michael and Tonio, I think, brought their all-time best. I think it's the best I've ever seen. Both guys made improvements, and really, it was a show that was apples and oranges, two completely different physiques at their best, and both winning many poses. So I'm going to go through here pose by pose, but definitely an exciting show. So first up is the front double bicep. For Michael's front double bicep, I think, has improved a lot. Obviously, his upper body has always been good. He has great arms. I actually thought for his waistline, yes, Michael has a wider waist, but I think his waistline itself has come in a little bit. And then where I think Michael has made dramatic improvements were to his legs. His overall leg width, the size of his quads, the detail, the separation, everything has come up with his legs. You can see here, I think this front double bicep is a very balanced front double bicep top to bottom. Next, we move to Tonio. Tonio has a very solid front double bicep. Tonio has solid arms. Obviously, you see he has a very detailed core and midsection. I think Tonio has great quads from the front as well. Great width, good sweep. He also has very good detail and separation to the quads. I just think you see here the size difference between the two guys. Michael definitely is wider. You see Tonio's lats just don't come out as wide as Michael's, even though Tonio has a smaller waist. The illusion of the X-frame, I think, goes to Michael. And then I just think Michael has a little bit more of the size in the arms, obviously, but then also in the legs as well. So a fairly close pose, but I think it goes to Michael for sure to make it 1 pose to 0. Next up is the front lat spread. The front lat spread, I think, was a very important pose in this contest. So for Tonio, you see that he really has improved the thickness of his chest. I thought that was one of his bigger weaknesses before. So for Tonio here, you see he really is able to flare his lats out very wide. And again, like I said before, he has a very detailed core and midsection. You see those separation, the deep separation in the abs. The waist is small. The quads have sweep. The quads are separated. Really a great X-frame from him here as well. Shoulders and arms look good. They flow with each other. They flow with the torso as well. Now we go over to Michael. As you can see, Michael's legs again are great. You know he has great shoulders and arms. But here, even though Michael had improved on his posing significantly from all of his prior outings, he still is not hitting this front lat spread all the way correctly. His lats, for as good as they come out in the front double bicep, they're not coming out like this in the front lat spread. It might be a flexibility issue, but because he's not getting those lats out, the way he's also holding his hands, his hand placement, it's flattening out his chest just a little bit as well. So even though Michael might have the superior arms and the legs, I think he has a little bit of an edge there as well. The lats, obviously his waist is a little bit wider than Tonio's. You just see the overall X-frame in this pose. It is not the same, and even though he is a bigger guy than Tonio, Tonio gives the illusion of being big here because of how wide his lats flare out. So for me, this pose went to Tonio to make it 1-1. Next up is the side chest pose. For Michael, a very, very strong pose. I actually think Michael can hit this just slightly better by not pushing up his back shoulder so much. If he just kept his shoulders more level, I think it would actually look even better because he has a lot of width from shoulder to shoulder. So he's given up a little bit of that width, but still overall you see amazing shoulders, amazing arms. His chest, he's able to look nice and thick here. Again, side leg. Michael's side leg was always pretty good, but it wasn't spectacular. I think it improved a lot. The leg width here from the side definitely improved. The hamstring drop improved. The glutes improved. So for Michael, very good detail and a lot of muscle in this pose. For Tonio's side shots have always been a little bit of a weakness for him. But again, like I said, these guys improved. Tonio definitely improved his hamstrings from the side. I still think he can use a little bit more hams. He can use more drop to the hamstrings here. And again, like I said, Tonio improved his chest. Shoulders and arms look good. Again, he was showing nice detail. He has to make sure he is keeping that midsection just a little bit flat in this pose. But overall, Tonio looks good. But again, you just see the size and the muscularity difference. And again, Michael is balanced top to bottom in this pose. It's not top heavy like it was before. So for me, I had Michael taking this pose to make it 2 poses to 1. Next up is the back double bicep. So again, Michael definitely improved on how he's hitting this pose. However, you still see his arms are tilted forward. We're not seeing his full delt and we're not seeing his full arms, which obviously those are 2 of his best body parts. The back, because of this, I think he needs to work on his external rotation and his flexibility because the back is definitely, you can see more thickness to it. But again, I think he's giving up some more width and even some more detail and thickness to the back by not being able to rotate those shoulders more. For Michael, his leg width improved from the back, his glutes improved from the back. I think he can do a little better job of making sure everything is staying flexed in that lower body every time he hits the pose. But again, this is a massive improvement on what he was doing previously. For Tonio's back double has always been a very, very strong pose for him. Arms and shoulders look great, flow into a back. The back, I felt like his back has gotten a little bit wider. He's always had good depth and detail to his back. Going to the lower body, the legs and the glutes, everything matches. And for Tonio, I really do think he improved his hamstrings a little bit, but also his leg width from the back. They were a little bit more narrow before. I think the leg width came up, and as you can see, his leg width is holding his own with Michael's in this pose. Tonio's upper body, really, really good here. I think he's improving into one of the stronger back double biceps in the entire pro league, and I think this was a very clear pose for Tonio to make it 2 poses to 2. Next up will be the back lat spread pose. Again, for Tonio, this is a very, very strong pose. Like I said, I think his lats have gotten a little bit wider. Obviously, that improves his back lat spread. His thickness and depth, very good. Lower body in, everything conditioned. For Michael is definitely hitting this pose a lot better. As you can see, it's not quite symmetrical left to right on the upper body here. Again, you can see Michael has that trap thickness from the top of his traps all the way down to his lower back, but you just don't see that same depth and thickness that I think you could if he was able to hit this pose correctly and get his lats out all the way. So Michael's still giving up some stuff in this back lat spread pose. Tonio's very, very strong. For me, clear pose for Tonio to make it 3 poses to 2. Next up is the side tricep pose. So for me, I think that Michael has good arms and shoulders, obviously. Again, those are his strongest points. His chest looks just a little bit flatter here, obviously, than in the side chest pose, but I feel like he's still doing a much better job of hitting this pose. Again, he's able to rotate just enough that we're seeing width shoulder to shoulder. Like I said before, he's very wide from shoulder to shoulder up top. And obviously his side leg, again, looks very, very good, very improved, and very balanced with his upper body. Michael also did a really good job of keeping his abs tight in this shot. So again, even though he has a wider waist, Antonio, he's keeping his abs and midsection tight throughout the contest in this shot, and we pose these guys a lot. For Tonio is hitting this pose better. He just needs to remember, again, he lets that lower abdomen go just a little bit in this pose. Whenever he would remember and flatten it out, that makes a big, big difference. Depending on which side of the stage I think we had them on, it was very interesting. I think Tonio wasn't rotating enough when he was on the right side of the stage, so we weren't seeing the width we need to see from him from shoulder to shoulder. The midsection wasn't in, and like I said, I still think he needs to add some more drop to the hamstrings in this pose. So the muscularity difference and overall size difference and balance, I think Michael took this pose to make it 3 poses to 3. Next up is the ab and thigh pose. Out of all the poses for me, I think this was the most dominant win for someone, which obviously was Tonio. Tonio has a very, very good abdominal and thigh. Like I said, very detailed and thick abs. He has a nice small waist. The quads have nice sweep and separation to them. And you see the nice taper from his lats right down into his midsection. For Michael's quads look great. His legs look great. Obviously, Michael has a wider waist. His abs aren't as detailed, right, and separated as Tonio's. He was hitting this from an angle, and I don't think that was helping him in this pose. I almost think it was making his oblique on the front look thicker, and also just his waist look even wider. We weren't seeing any taper in this pose. I'm not sure what the exact adjustment he needs to make is, but he definitely needs to go back and hit this from a different angle. He never hit it straight on, so I don't know how it would look straight on because he does have nice lats. So even with a wider waist, would that still give him taper? Would that make his midsection look a little smaller? If he's going to go from an angle here, does he need to go into a little bit of that variation of the ab and thigh pose here with only one hand overhead, kind of like how Bonak hits his ab and thigh? I don't know what would work best for his physique right now because I didn't get to see any other variations, but I definitely think he needs to go back to the drawing board with this one. And for me, like I said, this was the most dominating pose and clear victory out of any of the 8 poses. Tonio takes it 4 poses to 3. And then finally, last up is the favorite most muscular pose. Michael's most muscular. Crazy, crazy good. Again, we see all the details in the arms and shoulders. You can see the striations in the chest. The legs are balanced with the upper body now, even with how crazy the upper body is. Huge, huge thing for him. Tonio looks good in his most muscular. He has a lot of detail. His chest improved. Again, the legs look good. You can see he has a tight midsection. But for me, this comes down to overall muscularity, and you can see the size difference between these two guys when they hit this pose. And it's not just height. Michael just has so much muscle, and now his best body parts aren't just his his arms and shoulders, his legs, especially from the front, are right up there with them. So very nice pose for Michael. It doesn't matter if he's doing the hands clasped or the crab. Very dominant pose for him. That most muscular can stand with anybody in the pro league. So for me, that makes it 4 poses to 4. So obviously 4 poses to 4. You see why the score was split right down the middle in the panel. The score was 3 judges to 2 for both prejudging and finals. I think both guys came back basically almost exactly the same for finals. I actually think in the morning they were both a touch sharper. I think at night they were both a touch fuller. Still very conditioned, still very separated, but I think they almost mimicked each other in how they looked with the conditioning. So again, you have muscularity, you have conditioning, you have symmetry, you have balance, you have polish. What is going to factor in here to how you choose which one of these guys win? Really, there's no wrong answer. The judges ended up going with Tonio. I think Tonio just really brought very good balance, very good symmetry, very good polish. The beauty of his physique matched Michael's freakiness of his physique. And I think if you really look pose by pose, they both won 4 poses. And then if you really try to see who won their poses by a larger amount, who basically was more dominating in the poses that they won, I think that went to Tonio on this day. I think the 2 back poses Tonio was very dominant in. And like I said, the pose that I think was the most dominant out of all 8 was the ab and thigh. So Michael's obviously dominant in the most muscular. I think Michael is a pretty clear winner on the side chest, the side tricep. So that front double and front lat spread, they kind of counteract each other with both of them taking each of those poses. So for me, Tonio just edged him out with just a little bit more dominance, and I think it really comes down to those back poses in the ab and thigh. So again, what an exciting show that these 2 guys put on. I'm super excited to see them both run it back in Pittsburgh. We have a couple more guys from this lineup that are going to Pittsburgh. You're throwing in Brandon Curry. You're throwing in Sasan. I mean, these 2 guys, they can't afford to miss. Brandon and Sasan better be bringing it. These other guys that were below, they can make some adjustments. I'm really, really excited to see what happens with the Open in Pittsburgh next week. So we'll move into 3rd place, Rafael. Rafael needs to improve his overall thickness to the back, detail to the back, width to the back. Rafael can also be more conditioned. His conditioning from the front and from the side were solid, not spectacular, especially throughout the back and the whole lower body. Definitely needs to be harder. I think for Rafael, if he can come in the condition that the 2 guys ahead of him came in, it's really going to change his physique because, again, he's just like Tonio. He might not be the biggest guy, but if he brings that polish and that conditioning and separation, it's actually going to make his physique look bigger. It's going to enhance everything, and I think he can surprise a lot of people with what he can do if he peaks perfectly. In 4th place, we had Blessing. I thought this was Blessing's best look to date this year. I think his legs look the best that they have looked. Obviously, I still think overall legs start with the quads, but the overall legs from every single angle can still stand to come up. I think his posing was better. His midsection control was better, can still be a little bit better. And his conditioning, while I think it was the best that I've seen this year, he can still push the conditioning just a little bit more. That's going to enhance his upper body as well, which his upper body is very strong. So overall for Blessing, I just think he just still needs to fine-tune some things and nail it, but he's definitely on the right track from what I've seen from him previously this year.